So you keep setting goals only to have the chaos of life distract you from your own priorities. Believe me, I've been there. So in this video, I'm going to break down how to set goals so that you can actually accomplish them. I'm going to explain the full focus, smarter goal setting system, and I'm going to give you a concrete example of a full focus, smarter goal that you can use to finally achieve your 2024 goals. It's not too late. You know, I don't even remember where this quote came from, but it always stuck with me. If you don't set your priorities, other people will set your priorities for you. And that is so true. I, for years, was always struggling to actually prioritize what was important to me when all the stress and chaos of life seemed to constantly get in the way, which is why I started using this thing. It is the Full Focus Planner. Today, we are talking about how to set goals using the Full Focus Planner and the Full Focus System by Michael Hyatt. So if you are thinking about getting one of these things, or you have one and you're just getting started, this video is for you. This is part 2 of our series on the Full Focus Planner. If you have not watched part 1, which is our introduction to the planner, click right here. But otherwise, let's dive into it. So here's the deal with the Full Focus System. The whole idea is the double win, how to win at work and succeed at life. Cheesy, I know, but I think it's true. And it's all really part of this book.
This is why I wrote my new book, Free to Focus, a total productivity system to achieve more by doing less.
And this book really did change the way I think about productivity and how to prioritize my life. And really the keystone for this whole process is goal setting. Now, you've probably heard of the SMART goal setting system, but Full Focus uses the SMARTer. That's how you know it's better. You got 2 extra letters for the system. This video is going to be straight to the point, and we're going to dive straight into it. So SMART. Specific, hang on, I gotta reference this. We have specific, measurable, actionable, and this is where it gets a little different, risky, time-bound, so SMART, and here's the extra letters, exciting, and relevant. It's pretty simple. Specific, you have to have a specific end state in mind. You know it's specific if it's a thing that has either been accomplished or has not been accomplished. It has to be clearly defined. You guys have all heard this before. It's not, I'd like to lose some weight. It's, I would like to weigh X amount by X date. Measurable. There has to be a concrete way of measuring whether or not you've had success. You know if you've lost X amount of pounds. You know whether or not you were able to go on the dream vacation with your wife. You have to be able to measure it. Actionable. There has to be an action verb. I will go on a trip. I will lose 10 pounds. I will get that raise. But here's where it's a little different. Risky, and I like this a lot. A goal should have some element of nerves to it, like something that's a little outside of your comfort zone. Certainly within the realm of achievable, but that level of discomfort that comes with pushing yourself a little bit. Time-bound. Super easy. There should be a date associated with when you want your goal achieved. So we're getting into the bonus letter territory, E, exciting. It should be exciting. It should be something that you're like, yeah, yes, I am hyped. If I achieve this, I am going to be stoked, thrilled, excited. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm going to hoop and I'm going to holler. No, don't. And then finally, of course, relevant. It should be relevant to you. That is to say, this should be your goal. This should not be something that your spouse is telling you. This is not something that your kids want. This should be something that is deeply personal and relevant to you. And that is the smarter system. But how do we actually use the Full Focus Planner to actually set a goal? We'll just dive right in. Right at the beginning of the Full Focus Planners, you will find a whole series of pages labeled Goal Detail. And this is where you can detail out your specific goals. Now, I'm going to kind of talk about how I use this system. I have a few tweaks to it that make sense for me, but that's the nice thing about the Full Focus Planner. It is a buffet of options. There's a lot of features in the planner. It can be kind of overwhelming at first, but honestly, you can kind of pick and choose what works for you. And so I'm going to talk about, now that I've used these for a few years, what's worked for me the most. So the goal detail page, the very, very top right, you're going to actually see where you can specifically check what category your goal is. Because you should have a few goals in a few different categories of life. Some examples being body, it might be community, it might be money, or it might be a spiritual goal. We have these different aspects to our life that sometimes, usually the ones that are falling behind, the ones that don't get our attention, those are the ones that we should probably be setting our goals so that we're being intentional about it. This is where you actually write out your full smarter goal. And let me let you in on a little secret. You don't have to get married to your first draft. Just take out a scratch piece of paper, start writing down what feels right. You have a lot of goal pages that you can use and update. Listen, don't overthink this process. Just start jotting stuff down. I'll use myself as an example. In the first quarter of this year, Q1 of 2024, this was one of my goals. I will complete my food log in the Full Focus Planner 5 out of 7 days per week in the first quarter. So a couple things about this. You'll actually see this at the bottom of that goal statement section. This is a habit goal. This is where I'm attempting to get to a certain streak. And I've allowed myself a little bit of leeway because life is chaotic. So I'm just trying to be consistent at least 5 of 7 days a week. I'm going to just jot down generally what I'm eating throughout the day. That's the only thing that matters. If I do that, I've completed it. I can check that box. It is a specific action. I will complete my food log, right? I know whether or not I've done it. It's a habit goal, meaning that I am attempting to hit a streak. But it's a habit goal that is time bound, meaning that like this is my goal for the first quarter. So that would be an example of a goal statement. For me, this has been more helpful than just like a generic weight loss goal or hitting the gym goal. This is a daily discipline that just helps me be more mindful about what I'm putting in my body. So like that's just an example of what you could do. Now, the next section is probably one of the most important, which is your key motivations. And this is where you actually have to be honest with yourself about what your motivations are. So in my case, yes, I'd like to lose weight. Like that is one of my motivations, but that's not really like, that doesn't get me hyped. That doesn't get me really excited. What does is the idea of boosting my confidence. Like the idea to me is that as I'm healthier, I know I'm a more confident person. That's the thing that I would love to achieve. That's really the result I'm looking for. I also wrote like reduce risk of injury because like I love running and I love long distance running. But it turns out if you're healthier, you're definitely not going to injure yourself, which is definitely something I've experienced. So I have this really personal desire to be able to keep participating in sports, to be able to keep running, which is a passion of mine, but without injuring myself because I've done it before. And when you're healthier, you're definitely less likely to injure yourself. So that's the key motivation. Then the next section here is your next steps. And this is where it's a little cheesy, just a little cheesy. That's okay. I like a little cheese. At the very beginning, like the first page has a quote. To accomplish our goals, we must distill our dreams into daily actions. And that's where the next steps section comes in because often when I'm setting a goal, I really don't know what's next until I actually bother to write it down. And these next steps are things that you can put on your to-do list that you can accomplish next week. So like for this goal for me, my next step, it was just to literally create a daily calendar event, a daily reminder to complete my food log. It's that simple, but that is a task that helps enable my success. Then you have the fun part, the celebration. You need to celebrate your win. So when you achieve this goal, what are you going to buy? So in my case, I wrote PS5. Hey, listen, treat yourself. That's what I say. There's also a goal progress bar or a streak tracker. In my case, for this one, a streak tracker is perfect because that's what I want to keep checking off. Each time I complete my food log, I can check it off on the streak tracker. Maybe if it's a weight loss goal, you can kind of track your progress as you go. And that is simply how you complete your very first smarter goal using the Full Focus system and the Full Focus planner. So here's the thing, like I will be making more videos on these planners, not because I'm paid by Full Focus, Lord knows. I'm just a dude who really likes these things and they've made a big difference in my life. I love paper planning, which is why I'm going to be doing more videos about it. So if that's your thing, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell right there. Bing. Any questions you have, leave them in the comments below. I will gladly answer them. Until next time, may the force be with you always. Thank you very much.